Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Bad. Today we're going to look at the murder of Detention Officer Jeremiah Story, Perry County Sheriff's Office, Arkansas. Folks, Officer Story was 21 years old. Now, I didn't have the information on how long he had been with Perry County Sheriff's Office. I do know he wanted to be a Arkansas State Trooper one day, which sounds like a pretty good plan to me. Now, he was in the Arkansas National Guard, so like so many of these officers we do stories on, he was serving his country and serving his community. Now, his parents were still alive, still had one of his grandmothers, both of his grandfathers, 2 sisters and 2 brothers, a lot of family. It's pretty obvious that he was raised right. Everything he was, the suspect was not. Now, the suspect, who I believe was in his 30s at the time of this event, back when he was 16, he had committed a robbery, armed with a knife, sometime in that time frame, 15, 16. I know when he was 16 now, according to the resource material, he killed a fella up in North Little Rock. Now, he was sentenced to life, no parole. Now, he did that killing he was 16, and when he got convicted, he was 17. Now, in 2016, the Arkansas Supreme Court, they said, based on a 2012 U.S. Supreme Court decision, they said that you can't be giving out no parole life sentences to teenagers, and it's unconstitutional. So he was resentenced to 20 years in prison in 2019. Now, after they did all this finagling, he basically had 22 months left on his sentence. That immediately made him eligible for parole. So in August of 2020, they let him out. So basically he did about 4 years for killing somebody. Now, he finished up his parole in August of 2021. Now, 3 months later, so it took him all of 90 days, in November he choked out his girlfriend and supposedly endangered the welfare of a minor. And he interfered with emergency communication, which I'm assuming that means he tried to keep his girlfriend from calling 911. So now he said he was not guilty to that. Now, he was out on bond, awaiting trial. That's when he got arrested by Perry County Sheriff's Department. Now, it's about 9:15 p.m. on June 22nd, 2022. A deputy runs across the suspect out there on Arkansas Highway 10, just inside the Perry County line. Now, the deputy that had stopped him, she smelled marijuana coming from the car. Now, she checked the suspect's information with the dispatcher and found out that the fella that she had stopped was previously been convicted of capital murder. Well, she knows she's going to have to make an arrest, so she calls for backup, thank goodness. Another deputy gets there and they arrest him. Now, it doesn't indicate whether he was searched and handcuffed. I can only assume he was. He was put in the back of a deputy's car. Now, the affidavit that was filed regarding the murder of Officer Story, it mentions that on the trip down to the jail, suspect keeps asking the deputy that's driving him down there, is that a police car that's behind us, following us? Well, in fact, it was. You had a second deputy follow the first car to the jail, which I think is a good thing. I think that's a very good practice. And now there was a third deputy, and they stood by waiting on the record to get the car. Now, we don't know what the deputy in the car at the time said to that question. Don't know if he even answered the question. But the answer was, yeah, that was a police car behind, following. Now, that makes you think that suspect, who, by the way, is armed with a pistol down in the crotch of his underwear, if he's not contemplating doing something while he's in the squad car. Now, of course, if he's handcuffed from behind, he probably can't get to the pistol without getting his handcuffs to the front. And I'm going to assume if he's under arrest, they handcuffed him. And the fact that he'd been convicted of capital murder should tell him that this is a dangerous man. In any event, they get him to the jail. Now, he's taken into the jail and he's handcuffed to a bench. Now, a little bit after that, Officer Story and a jail trustee, they get the suspect and they take him to the restroom. They're going to have him put on a jail uniform. Now, while he's getting undressed and going to change into his jail attire, a fight breaks out between the suspect, Officer Story, and the trustee. Now, during this fight, the suspect pulls that 9mm pistol out from his crotch area and he shoots Officer Story in the chest. Now, that shooting occurs about 10:20 p.m. Now, hearing the shot, one of the deputies goes into the bathroom and he sees that the trustee has got the suspect pinned against a wall. Now, some of this resource material says that the deputy that went in, the first deputy, that he used a stun gun. Now, I'm assuming he's talking about his taser. Well, he pops him with the taser and it doesn't do any good. So now the trustee and this deputy, they're fighting the suspect. Now, the second deputy, he comes in and she gets her taser out and they pop him again and it still doesn't do any good. And the fight's still on. So finally, the trustee and the deputies, they're finally able to overpower the suspect. They're able to get him in the drunk tank. Now, they looked at the suspect's pistol, and the reason he only fired one round was that the semi-automatic pistol he had, that first round, the shell casing jammed in the ejection port, so it wouldn't fire again. And thank God the suspect didn't know about tap, rack, and bang. So Officer Story is transported to the hospital and he dies. Now, the suspect has been charged with capital murder, and he ain't no juvenile no more. I imagine the great state of Arkansas is going to find a way to get him into court with a death penalty hanging over his head. Just another case where the suspects are just so violent and so stupid. Absolutely no ability to reason through, because killing Officer Story wasn't going to help anything. It wasn't like he was going to get away. But then again, I don't think he cares. I think apathy is how he was raised. Officer Jeremiah James Story. End of watch, June 22nd, 2022.